On the hunt for comfortable, timeless Western boots? You already know the best place to shop for quality boots is at your local Tecovas store. So stop by Tecovas Nashville, at the Mall at Green Hills, or on Broadway by Ryman Auditorium. That's right, you now have 2 locations to choose from. Grab a cold one as you shop and get fitted by a pro. Tecovas Nashville is at your service, and you can find your perfectly fitted dream boots with the help of their expert staff. Everyone will be asking where you got your sick new boots, but I won't be asking because I know they must be Tecovas. That's TECOVAS.com. Don't go gently, y'all. Today on CityCast Nashville, we're here with local artist Nick Tabron to talk about some of the opportunities for new artists to play around the city. This is the second of 5 episodes about the music community in Nashville, brought to you by our exclusive launch sponsor, Tecovas. Tecovas knows more than handmade boots and fine Western wear. They've also got an ear for great music, too. From legends of the past to rising stars in the scene, we love supporting musicians and music fans right here in Nashville. So if you're headed for a good time on the stage or in a crowd, go in good boots from Tecovas. And on August 22nd from 5 to 8 p.m., you can actually come meet me and the whole CityCast team at the new Tecovas store in the Green Hills Mall. We'll have acoustic performances from 3 great local artists, Alex Wong, Sam Rochford, and Nick Tabron, who we're talking to today, as well as complimentary food and drinks. Should be a super chill time, so swing by and see us. And finally, stick around after the interview for our new segment, A Mile in Their Boots, presented by Tecovas, spotlighting people who shape the community and culture of Nashville. Today we're talking to artist Troy Duff, who paints the Tomato Street mural in 5 Points for the Tomato Art Fest every year. It's August 7th, I'm Grace Fuse, and this is what Nashville's talking about. Hey, Nick. Thanks so much for coming on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So first, we're going to talk a little bit about where you can play as a new artist in Nashville. Can you tell me what it was like for you when you first got started playing music here?
Yeah, I moved here in the summer of 2019 and very much was a brick wall in the face. You just realize you start going to some of these write-arounds and try to start going to some of these open mics, and it's very much like, oh man, everybody's good. Like everyone's been doing this forever. Everyone is really talented. So it became one of those things where I was a little discouraged, but then, it's just like you're discouraged, but you're still just trying. And it's like, you're just trying and trying. It's like throwing paint up against the wall. And then finally it's like, oh, that's something, And I remember moving here and just like showing up to things and like, I didn't make it on the list, or like the list is like 50 artists long. And you're like, oh yeah, just hang around, but there's a 2-drink minimum.
You're like, cool. Everyone's going to listen to me at 1 a.m. when I finally get to play. That'll help my reach and my performing experience.
But it was just having that passion of just wanting it. And like, even though, you're discouraged and you're going through like all sorts of feelings, feeling less than, feeling, oh man, they're so much better, or just going back to that comparative space, right? You just keep trying. And what I found is I just focused on the good, because then I would get a yes, right? Like one of the first things that happened for me that was exciting when I moved here was the Bluebird Cafe. They did like an open mic, and I think they still do it. And it's like you call, like you would call, and they have like 15 spots. And then if you call
I think it's Mondays.
Yeah, Mondays. So I just saw that online, and I was like, this is an iconic venue because of the television show. I'm gonna do it. So I signed up, and I got it. And it was one of the first things. And that post, I think I had like 400 followers, but that was like one of the first posts, me performing at the Bluebird Cafe, that had a little traction. And I think I woke up one day and I was like, oh, I have 5,000 followers on Instagram now. You find these little pockets of reasons to be like, yeah, so I am meant to do this. Like I can do it. And I've spoken to like even bigger artists they're not playing open mics, but they're playing like the bigger platforms like Whiskey Jam. And they go through the same emotions that we do, So it's really just about sort of faking it till you make it mentally, and having the, mental fortitude to just like push on because you love it. And it's not always easy, but love isn't always easy, right? So it's just really wanting it.
Yeah, that really resonates. I mean, I know personally, I took like a big break from music when I first moved here because I was so discouraged from the fact that everyone I met was a songwriter and it seemed like everyone was better than me and everybody had more experience and everybody was farther along. And like, what is the point of starting? But the cool thing about Nashville, I think, and maybe you'll disagree, but I think Nashville is actually very welcoming of new artists in that we have kind of like a structure of the kinds of shows and showcases and stuff that you can go to when you're an emerging artist. Like we have a lot of discovery based shows. Like we have New Faces Night at the Basement. We have a ton of showcases. I think you did another showcase at the Bluebird, right? After?
Yeah, I've like played the Bluebird afterwards. So that was just sort of like my first time. And it became like going back there and playing it as like a writer on like an actual round. Yeah. It was a great feeling. It felt like a full circle moment. But no, there are a lot of opportunities. So I don't want to sound like there aren't or that you should be discouraged by it. It's just pushing through and like looking for the opportunities. One of the opportunities I first found that was like a place I used to frequent is I believe it's called the Songwriter Show. It's at the Holiday Inn near Vanderbilt. I don't know if you've ever played that one, but he like live streams it. The guy's name is Jimmy. Jimmy's really cool. He live streams it on Facebook Live, I want to say. Maybe Facebook and Twitter. But it's like a live stream show. He does like, it's multiple times a week. And you can go down to that Holiday Inn and even he has a list. And if you get there early enough, you get on the list. But even if you don't get on the list, he does an open round after the list. So it's like one of those places where you can get on and connect and meet other songwriters. And Nashville is, while it is overwhelming and you do have to fight the imposter syndrome, because there's so many creatives here, there's so many opportunities for creatives here. And that's sort of what drives us. So it's just searching and seeking and looking for those opportunities. And in between your next opportunity, just fighting that imposter syndrome.
In terms of Nashville's open mics, we also have this kind of cool phenomenon of these live band jam open mics. There's Pitch Meeting is at 6:30 on Tuesdays, but the location changes, so check on their Instagram. And then there's the Blue House Band open mic that's at Vinyl Lounge on Mondays. Signups for that is at 7. Basically, you go up, you say, here's my song, and you have a band that is fantastic musicians that improvise with you so that your solo artist becomes a full band performance.
Yeah, Blue House Band was great. They're really cool. That band is, I mean, they're crazy good, man. Those guys are super cold musicians. And I just showed up, did the open mic, built a relationship, and then was eventually like, hey, do you want to do the artist feature night? And then that experience was like an even better experience. Like I enjoyed just going to do the open mic night, but that's how it works, right? It's like you got to kind of show up. It's very much like a show up kind of town where you have to meet people and network and build relationships. After doing the open mic, got a chance to do like the featured night that they do weekly, like being a featured artist. And that was really cool because like they take it super serious. Like while they can play your song on the spot, I want to say like we met and did like an hour-ish practice where we went through all my music and just did like I said. And I think you mentioned Pitch Meeting as well.
Yeah.
I know those guys a little bit too. And I met them because I do these shows called like So Far Sounds. I don't know if you've heard of those.
I used to be an audio engineer for So Far Sounds Nashville.
Okay.
You bet your butt.
Yeah, okay.
I was.
So you know about So Far. I've done So Fars like all over the country. And So Far Nashville did a show that was hosted by Pitch Meeting. So it was at like the Pitch Meeting studios. And so I got a chance to meet those guys that way. And they're so cool. Super, super talented. And I love what they're doing. It's because of spaces like that help the up and coming artists, right? Like, and they are very much a lot of times being run by artists who are also up and coming. So it's very much like an artist help artist community here in Nashville, you know?
It is. It's really cool how artists uplift artists and really all of these. I mean, all of the open mics in town are run by artists and a lot of them will open up the open mic by playing. There's a lot of really cool dynamics with that. And also for the uninitiated, So Far is Songs from a Room. It's one of these things where you sign up for a specific day in a neighborhood. There'll be like, this is on August 5th in East Nashville, and then it'll be at some random location. Sometimes it's somebody's house, sometimes it's a business, sometimes like it could really be anything.
I've never done one in the house, but I've heard that. It's happened, yeah.
There have been house shows. I did one that was in a rock climbing gym, like all sorts of weird ones. And I'll tell you, as an audio engineer, that is not always
easy. I bet
an easy task to set up. Acoustics in a rock climbing gym are bonkers. Yeah, but it's a really cool place to go if you want to discover some music, is to go check out a So Far show, just because they don't tell you who the artists are in advance. So it's a cool place, like we were talking about, to expand your reach, in that you can go and play and the room is full of people that have never heard of you before. Yeah. So it's inherently a cool discovery experience.
It's a cool vibe for sure.
Do you have any other recommendations for maybe showcases that people should check out where it's just good music and people can discover new artists if they're an audience member and not an artist themselves?
They're always going to be like, sort of like in the event of a writer's round. There was a classic one at Cafe Coco for a while, but then that, I don't know if you remember that one.
I used to go to that one. Yeah. I actually bought some of the audio equipment off of the guy that used to run it when he closed down. So I benefited in that I have a drum miking kit.
Okay.
Cool. But I also missed out seriously because my first EP, I actually did my release show there
Cafe
back
Coco?
in the day.
Man, that place was a staple, man. It was a staple.
Serious throwback.
Rest in peace to Cafe Coco.
Rest in peace, Cafe Coco open mic.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
But this is what I'm saying, is sometimes like online, there's a real disconnect between what open mics are still active and what aren't. So if you look online for open mics, you might find the Cafe Coco one and not know that it exists.
Right.
And then you go, like, I have never heard of this Holiday Inn one. I don't even know how did you hear about that one?
I think I honestly just saw the stream on Facebook or Instagram or whatever, and I saw this is Nashville. But it's called I believe it's like the Nashville Songwriter Show. But yeah, it's a really nice couple that run it. It's at the Holiday Inn Express. But yeah, that's probably the one I would tell people to check out the most, because it like you get a pretty good crowd. And a lot of times it's not like, a lot of these songwriter shows, it's just you and other artists. This is sort of your crowd,
Yeah.
But that one,
your artist is the people waiting to play, which means if you're the 15th person, there's nobody left.
Right, exactly. But with the one at Holiday Inn Express, because it was in like a hotel near downtown where there's people checking in and out of there that are here to hear music, they're literally in Nashville to hear music anyway, you would get pretty good traffic of people just hanging out at that bar, ordering food and just enjoying the music. So it's pretty cool, and I would definitely say check that one out.
I'm here with Nick Tabron. Growing up Jehovah's Witness, what did that mean for your path to music?
It just meant that I was a little musically awkward, because a lot of the music of my day was not like, I wasn't allowed to listen to, so I kind of had to like sneak and listen to it. I remember like getting in big trouble because my friend, he snuck me an Outkast CD, and I just remember hearing the song Roses and being like, I love this song. And I remember also getting in like big trouble. So I remember just like having to like sneak and listen to music. I don't know, I guess it made it more special to me when you love it more. I guess I would have to go to the links to listen to it. It was a very conservative religion. Like my parents, they were very, very closed and like tight-knit with us. Like we were like secure cargo. We couldn't really go anywhere. And I mean, my parents, they definitely knew I loved music, and they supported that in their own way. As far as the learning of music and like helping my creativity bloom. But as far anything further than that, it was like, oh, you want to do this for a living? Oh, you want to be in the music industry? Oh, no, definitely no. That's not what we see for you or your life. I would just sit in my room all day and write songs and teaching myself guitar. And in a way, the isolation of growing up the way I did kind of lended myself to being creative.
How did you get your first guitar? How did it all start?
I started playing because I just really wanted to write songs. And me and my little brother really wanted to be Green Day. Like literally, we loved Green Day. I discovered them through their album American Idiot, and then went back and discovered Dookie. And then I was like, oh my God, this is better than American Idiot. And it was just so angry. And I'm this 11, 12-year-old kid. And I don't know, that just spoke to me. So my grandmother got us our first guitar. She made us work for it. Like I worked all fall, just like raking as many leaves as I could. Summer into fall, first starting cutting grass, then like raking leaves and just saving all the money from that. And then like taking my grandmother, I don't know if you remember like Musician's Friend magazine, but taking my grandmother a copy of Musician's Friend magazine and, saying like, hey, I really want a bass. Like, and my little brother really wants a guitar. And I was like, I have the money for my bass. Can I just buy my bass and you buy him a guitar? Because we really want to start this punk pop band. And she said, keep your money. And she ordered us, me and Ibanez bass, and him and Ibanez guitar. And we started playing, and I just kind of stuck with it and ended up just teaching myself on the guitar that she got him, like a bunch of chords, and just learning a bunch of Green Day songs and a bunch of Blink-182 songs. So yeah, I just really loved music and had a passion for it. And I feel like life will sort of take care of everything else. If you have that passion, you'll figure out a way to do what you're trying to do.
Were the first couple songs you wrote pop punky, or did they have a different kind of style to them?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. But they also probably had like elements of probably some folk as well. I was a big fan of like Elvis Costello. Like I found him through, like I said, massive Green Day fan. And Billy Joe from Green Day did a VH1 Storytellers with Elvis Costello, like way back in the day. And I just happened to be up late watching TV and I saw that. And they played this song, Allison. And I was like, what is this song? And who is this artist? And it introduced me to Elvis Costello. And then I fell in love with his music. I mean, it was a whole rabbit hole that I went down. But I mean, I loved all types of music. And, before I was playing Green Day on guitar, I was learning Earth, Wind, and Fire bass lines because I thought they were so good. And that was the kind of music my parents did play in the house.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, so you hear both of those sides in your music today. I mean, I think that makes a lot of sense in terms of the production in your music now and the kind of folksy energy, poppy, punky kind of vibe. I can hear how that would definitely still coalesce to now. What scene trend would you have pursued if you could have? What would have been your look if you had full reign?
Probably that, that like kind of like pop look, that pop punk look that was really cool, with like bands like Good Charlotte, Taking Back Sunday, and like Fall Out Boy. Oh man, I was really into Fall Out Boy, and that whole like scene where it was emo, but it was kind of like emo-ish punk, you know. But yeah, no, it probably would have been that.
I just saw Fall Out Boy at Bridgestone recently, which is pretty sick.
No, yeah, I
love some Fall Out Boy.
Their melodies, Patrick Stump's melodies, are incredible.
Yeah. So today, you like to use your music as a tool for activism a lot. When and how did that start?
So I kind of fell into it. There was a time in my life where I was like, hey, I'm going to do this pretty seriously. And my parents were like, no. So I ended up moving out, ended up like living in my car for a while. And then like found my way, couch surfing, lived in a couple friends' basements, like that kind of thing, until I got like, more secure in my career. But in doing that, it sort of opened my eyes to the experience of people all over the world. Like the depression you go through and the anxiety you go through with not knowing where you're going to like lay your head at night. It's crippling, and people deal with that every single day. So it's what I'm passionate about. You learn really quickly though, like in order to help more, you kind of have to have a platform to help. So I sort of been like putting my energy in trying to build a platform to which I can sort of be seen and give back. So I've just been trying to get some reach,
Yeah. I love the initiative. I really respect the way you are using your music for good. Thank you so much for the recommendations, and thank you for coming on the show. We're really excited to see you play later in the month. Looking forward to it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm super excited to play. Thank you so much for having me.
And hey, don't go anywhere. In just a second, our executive producer, Whitney Pasterek, will be walking a mile in the boots of Tomato Art Fest muralist Troy Duff in a segment sponsored by Tecovas.
Hey y'all, it's CityCast Nashville executive producer Whitney Pasterek here with artist Troy Duff, the man who paints the Tomato Fest mural on the streets of 5 Points every year. Troy, you are in your crunch time.
The countdown is on. This is going to be my 10th year of doing the tomato application in the middle of 5 Points. So every year, it's first of all kind of coming up with a design concept for the tomato. I've got a couple of assistants that have my back now, and they are on board and ready to go. And so we're ready to do this.
So this is in the heart of East Nashville, and it is the heart of where this festival takes place. What are you painting when you're not painting streets?
I specialize in graffiti art, One day it may be a Pilates boutique. The next day it may be a gym. The next day it's a restaurant, or it could just be commissioned canvases right here in my studio that I'm working on.
Do you live in East?
I live on the East Side, 37206 all day.
We'll steal your heart and your lawnmower.
And your lawnmower. You know what it is.
All right. Well, we are here to walk a mile in your boots. And so what I want you to do is take a step-by-step through that day that you paint the 5 Points intersection. What does that day look like for you?
So I get to my studio early in the day and just start packing up my truck with everything I need to apply this street mural. Once I get the truck all packed up, I go back to the East Side and second guess everything that I'm supposed to be doing. Sometimes I go to the pre-opening party and just soak up the Tomato Fest vibes, kind of get excited and then go home, try to get some rest. It never works. You cannot get any rest when you're about to paint a street mural in the middle of the street.
In the middle of the night.
In the middle of the night. I'm checking in with my dudes to make sure that they're on deck. We got the alarm set to get up. We only get 3 hours to get out there, so we're usually trying to get there no later than 2:30 a.m.
Oh, wow.
We need to let the bars let out and all the riffraff kind of get to where they're going. So we have a barricade that's set around us with cones and caution tape. But sometimes people just decide to drive right through that barricade and right over the tomato as we're painting it. So
great job,
obviously,
people.
we have to have eyes in the back of our head. I have a list of order of things of how I do this and how it needs to go down to be able to maximize our 3-hour window to pull off this insane design to make it work.
You don't just have 3 hours to paint it. You have 3 hours to paint it and for it to dry.
Yes, absolutely. And only 1 year of doing this for 10 years did it rain on my design. And it hurt my feelings pretty bad because I love this. I'm honored to be able to be the guy that is doing the tomato for this festival because it's a pretty well-known festival and people look forward to getting there and seeing the tomato, dancing on the tomato, the parade comes through, whatever, the drone shots, all the above.
What do you think the significance is of that big tomato in the street every year? What does it represent, not just to you, but kind of to Nashville as a whole?
Well, first of all, I think the significance of the tomato is to let people know this is a tomato arts festival, not just a tomato fest. So when people say tomato fest, no, it's a tomato arts fest. It's about celebration of the arts. And this is not only for 37206, but it's for Nashville. It's for my city and my community. And I'm pretty grateful to be able to do this every year. It's good. I'm happy to be that guy.
I'm guilty of that myself, just calling it Tomato Fest.
I know it. Aren't we all? It's just Tomato Fest.
I think you might have changed my life just now, Troy. Thank you. CityCast is about news, but it's also about recommendations for great places in Nashville. So when it's all done at the end of your day, whether it's painting that tomato in the street or a mural somewhere or just working in your studio, where do you like to go and relax and have fun?
My wife and I, we're pretty homebodies, and so we love to relax in our backyard. But more than that, we go out to dinner every now and again. I was born and raised in 12 South, but every now and again, we venture over there. And we're always trying to spread love to East Nashville spots. So if we're going up to 5 Points to have a cocktail right there, Reunion, of course, we've been to Bar Taco right there. It seems ever changing right there in the 5 Points area. We may bounce down to El Fuego in the 1-6 right there and have some good Mexican food and margaritas right there.
Right on. Yeah, so many options over here in East, for sure.
Absolutely.
All right, sweet. Troy, thank you again so much for being a part of this. Y'all check out his Instagram page. It's at Duffomatic on Instagram. Find out a lot more about his art there. And obviously, check out tomatoartfest.com to learn more about the festival coming up this weekend. We'll have those links in our show notes for you as well, so you'll be just a click away. Thank you so much for listening. And Troy, I can't wait to see what you make this year.
Absolutely. I'm not letting out any secrets, but please check it out. It's going to be hot.
Will it have a tomato in it?
It will have a tomato in it.
All right.
It's going to be big and red. I can give you that.
You heard it here first, folks.
That's all for today here on CityCast Nashville. If you enjoyed the show, why not tell a friend? Rate the show, leave us a review, and subscribe to our Hey Nashville newsletter. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. Bye!